This is the tutorial for gradual animation. So if you come to the effects panel, go down to effects, Greg edits effects, and there's gradual animation. So you can drag and drop that onto your clip. And there's also a generator version of this plugin as well, which I'll show you later on. So close the effects, and straight away what the gradual animation does is it will just give a nice slow push into the footage. So it has different speeds for the scale, X and Y position, and the rotation. So if I was to put the scale speed up to 2, it'll push in even faster. If I was to set the Y position, and then you'll see it's now going to go up and push in at the same time. So you can do that for any of these 4 controls. You could have it at 0 scale speed and it's just going to go directly up. And as you saw there, if you keep going up, it's going to mirror the edge because you've also got these edge controls. So if you set it to canvas, then it's going to keep it as the original image. If you set it to wrap, it's going to repeat the image. If you set it to duplicate, it's going to repeat the last pixel. So as you can see here, it's going to stretch these out. But if the background was all like this, then it might actually work. But in this case, it won't because of the plants. And you've also got mirror, which is going to mirror the image like that. So if I just set this back to its default settings, where it's just a slow zoom in, like that. So for this example, say if it keeps zooming in, it's going to obviously chop off Ed's head. So what we want is to also offset that with the Y position. And now, as you can see, the whole entire clip is going to be fine because it's going to keep zooming in, so you can still see the whole of Ed's head. Now, an easy way to set up gradual animation is to use the playhead to start and playhead to end buttons. So if you keep an eye on the playhead here, if I hit playhead to start, it's going to move it to the start of the clip. But if I hit playhead to end, it's going to move it to the end. So you can quickly set up what kind of end frame you want, like that. So if you want a bit of rotation as well, you probably wouldn't for this scenario, but I hit playhead to start, and now you're going to see it's going to slowly zoom in, whilst the Y position is going to go up slightly, and there's going to be a slight bit of rotation as well. You can also set the starting position as well. So if I open up the starting positions, you can see you've got the same controls as these, but you've got the starting positions. So if I set the starting size to this and the starting Y position to here, hit player to end, and then obviously you can see that's going to zoom in way too much. But what I could do is I can set this to minus, and then it's going to have a gradual zoom out. So set that there, player to start. Now you can see it's going to gradually zoom out. Nice and quick. This is the easiest way you can do these type of effects, especially with the player to start and end. You can just set things up really quick. And these will always maintain their speed. Even if you change the clip length, it's still going to be the same speed. But obviously the end position will now be different because it's stopping here rather than over here. Another way you can use this effect, I've got some footage here from Universal. So if I use my shortcut to whack on that effect, obviously straight away, nice zoom in, but I might actually not want that effect. If I set the scale speed to 0, go to starting positions, zoom this in, maybe there, set the X position over here, play here to end, X position, maybe to here, play it to start. Now you can see got a nice pan across the image. Like that, nice and easy. And also you've got the option for enable motion blur. So if I was to whack this up a crazy amount, it's going into the mirrored sections now as well, which obviously you wouldn't do. But if I put the player to start, hit enable motion blur, now you can see we've got motion blur as it pans across. So you can see the difference like that. And then also something else you could do with this preset as well is, say if you've got an image like a logo or something, if I was to add the gradual animation, set this to 0, put the starting position up there, over there, and then set the end position down here maybe, and then on the other side, you can see that could be a way if you want a set speed to move something from one location all the way to the other. And if you always want it to be that same speed, it doesn't matter how you change the clip length, it's always going to be the exact same speed. just maintains that the whole time. And like I said earlier, this preset also comes as a generator layer. So you go to effects, come down to generators, Greg edits generators, and then gradual animation layer. And you can pop that above anything and it will do the same things, but now as a layer. So I could also put, say, this logo in here and then position that over here, and it will push in on both rather than having to do them both separately. So that's a quick and easy way of doing that. So that's the gradual animation preset. If you have any questions on this preset or any of my others, just send me an email and I'll be happy to help.